Now from Björling as artist to a glimpse of Björling as a man. This interview was recorded in his hotel suite on remote equipment, which accounts perhaps for the somewhat less than perfect sound. The tape is One-Eyed Treasure. I hope you'll enjoy rehearing it. I'm particularly privileged to have as my guest this morning the man many people consider to be the very greatest tenor in the world, Mr. Jussi Björling. Mr. Björling, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Björling, you've had quite a successful fall this year, haven't you?
Oh, yes. I've been very successful.
Well, where were you singing?
In San Francisco and Chicago.
What were some of your roles?
Manrico and Trovatore, Bohème, Rigoletto, and Radames in Aida.
Is this the first time you sung Radames here in this country?
In this country, yes.
But you have sung it in Europe?
Yes, since 1933.
Well, this brings up some questions. You're also known for some of the more lyric roles, like Rodolfo in Bohème or Romeo, and here Radames, one of the heaviest of the dramatic roles. How would you characterize your voice? Is it a lyric voice or a dramatic voice?
I object a little bit when you say that it's the heaviest of all the dramatic roles. It's not so. The Radames is not a dramatic part. It's a spinto part, and it's a lyric passages that is for a dramatic tenor, but I tell you, it would be very difficult to sing.
I see. That's a very interesting point. Well, then you consider your voice a spinto voice?
Yes.
If you had your preference, generally speaking, if you could pick your own repertoire at any given season, what were the two or three roles you'd most like to sing?
Well, one of my favorite roles is Romeo and Juliet, and Bohème, Manon Lescaut, the Grevin Manon Lescaut, and I like to sing very much Radames in Aida.
We've been playing a number of your records on Living Opera, and of course today we're featuring your voice. What are some of your future recording plans?
Well, we plan to do Faust and Bello Maschera and Romeo and Juliet and Othello.
Wonderful, wonderful. Othello.
Yeah, well, recording. I said recording.
I see.
I'm not that spinto, you know.
Do you have any other recording plans beside the ones we mentioned?
Well, it's going to be continuing, you know, but not right now. Well, I have, as a matter of fact, two Wagnerian parts. It's Lohengrin and Meistersinger.
Again, for recording only?
Yes.
I've heard rumors that you're going to be recording the Verdi Requiem sometime soon. Is that true?
That's right.
Well, who's going to be in it with you?
Renata Tibaldi will take the soprano part, and Giorgio Tozzi is the bass.
Do you know who's going to conduct?
Yes, the Sir Thomas Beecham.
Should be a recording to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about your concert schedule in the next few months, Mr. Björling? Where do you go from here?
I have some TVs in Stockholm and in London, and then I have a concert tour in Germany, and then I come back here again in February, March, and April for 20 recitals around the country.
I know you'll be doing a recital at Hunter College.
That's right.
Is this the only time New Yorkers will get a chance to hear you?
Well, this spring, yes.
That's what I meant, this coming season.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard rumors, I don't know if they're true or not, that you were offered the tenor part in Bellini's Il Pirata, which the American Opera Society is going to be doing with Maria Callas. Is that true?
That's right. But unfortunately, I cannot do it. I have not the time.
May I say, I'm dreadfully sorry to hear that.
Well, so am I.
That's a marvelous role. It's written for Rubini, I understand.
Yes, that's true.
By the way, just in passing, did you know that you held the Metropolitan record for the most curtain calls?
Yes, I've heard about it.
I just found out last week that in a performance of Tosca, you and Madame Tibaldi on February 27th, 1956, you took 28 curtain calls.
Yes, that's true.
What about Metropolitan career, Mr. Björling? When did you make your debut there?
Well, I never forget that. That was Thanksgiving Day, 1938.
Well, how come you remember that so clearly?
Oh, it was a blizzard. There's no taxis around, and the subway was blocked and everything. So I had to walk from my hotel at 59th Street at Central Park way down to the 39th Street.
And then sing a performance?
That's right.
What was the role?
That's with Rodolfo in Bohème.
Is this a role perhaps you sung more often than most other? I remember hearing you in it very often.
I sang Rodolfo quite a bit, yes. Close to 300.
Mr. Björling, when was your first operatic debut, the first leading role you sang anywhere in the world?
It was in 1930 at the Royal Opera in Stockholm.
You were very young then, weren't you?
Like 19 years.
That's very young indeed.
Well, I had 1 year in opera school, you know. In Europe, you know, you have to make 3 major debuts before you can call yourself an opera star, opera singer, rather.
That's very interesting. How do you mean?
I made 3. The first one was Don Ottavio and Don Giovanni, and then Arnoldo in Wilhelm Tell, and Almaviva in The Barber of Seville.
Well, that leads me to another question. There must be a number of roles in your repertoire which you haven't sung here. By the way, how many roles do you say you have in your repertoire, all told?
Altogether?
Yeah.
Well, between 75 and 80.
Well, of these 75 or 80, there must be quite a few you haven't sung here in the United States. I know of a few. There's Vasco da Gama and L'Africaine.
Yes, I sang that.
In Europe?
In Stockholm, yes.
How about the girl Golden West? You haven't
Yes,
sung that here.
yes. No, not here. I sang that in Stockholm.
Let me see if I think of a few others that you haven't sung here. Florestan, Fidelio.
Oh, yes.
And Almaviva you just mentioned. And how about Nemorino? You didn't sing this year, did you?
Not here, but in Europe many times.
Well, how about some roles you haven't sung anywhere in the world? Are there any of these roles that you'd like to add to your repertoire now?
Yes, I would like to say Andrea Chenier, Don José, Carmen.
Uh-huh. There's one I'd like to suggest. I know you do the Des Grieux in Manon Lescaut very beautifully. How about the Des Grieux in Massenet's Manon?
Well, yes, I would like to do that too.
If I could just mention that here. I have a recording of you singing Alfouille du Ciment.
Well, you know, if I were going to do everything I want to do and the public want me to do, the rest I would do till I'm finished. I would have to rehearse all those things, you know, and learn all the things.
I know it'll be hard for you, it'll be marvelous for us. Here's a question that perhaps might be a little bit of a curveball, Mr. Björling. Who are some of your favorite performers, some of your favorite singers?
Well, that's difficult to say because I've had so many favorites. But I sang a lot with Zinka Milanov at the Met, you know, from my very beginning here. And she's always been very nice to sing with, and one of the best sopranos I know. In the later years, I have been singing some with Tebaldi. She's a very wonderful artist. And of course, for 2-3 years ago, I sang with Callas, and she's wonderful too. I have so many favorites. I'm sorry if I don't mention them all, but...
Well, how about among the men?
I can tell you my first experience, but some great singers. This was in Stockholm. Some years ago, I sang quite a few times with Fyodor Shalyapin.
Must be a very exciting experience.
Yes, it was, really.
How about some of those who are singing now?
Well, there are wonderful singers like Leonard Warren, and Robert Merrill, and Bastianini, to mention a few. And there are some very nice colleagues of mine that I haven't sung together with, but we are very good friends, and I like them very much. And that's Jan Pierce, Richard Tucker. There's a new tenor at the Met. His name is Bergonzi. He's excellent.
Let me take one of the roles now with which you're becoming more and more identified, Radames in Aida. Do you find this character particularly difficult to portray from an acting standpoint? Do you find it kind of silly walking around in short skirts?
I have not thought about that, because you walk around in so many different costumes at the opera stage, you know, so you almost always you feel silly going around like that.
Well, how about chances for a concert then in which you'll be wearing full dress and perhaps feeling a little bit more comfortable?
Well, that's my usually working clothes, you know, the full dress.
Was there a chance, perhaps, of New Yorkers getting to hear you in a concert like that marvelous one you did last season?
I hope so.
There have been rumors going around that there might be a chance for a joint concert, perhaps with you and Madame Tebaldi, or you and Halim Farrell with a full orchestra. Is there any possibility of this coming to be?
I would love to do that, but so far, this is news to me.
What would you say is your favorite encore aria, the one that perhaps is most requested by audiences, or the one you most like to sing at the end of a recital?
Well, that's difficult to say, but I would say Amor ti vieta, Giordano's...
From Fedora.
Fedora.
Marvelous, marvelous thing. Mr. Björling, may I say thank you very much for taking the time of being with us this morning.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be with you, and may I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, sir, and to you too.
poignant reminder of what a graceful gentleman the late, great Jussi Björling was.